marching for different causes, 4 groups led by 4 horses of the apocalypse, all united by anger against the establishment, particularly against the financial giants. But to the bemusement of stranded bus passengers, the protests range from anti-war, climate change through to land ownership. Despite dire warnings of potential clashes as the 4 marches converged on the Bank of England, the mood remained festive, with few signs that anyone was looking for a fight.
The power of protest is absolutely crucial. If people feel they do not have a voice and cannot go out on the streets and express how they feel, you're then in an even more dangerous situation.
Police said they wanted to ensure the right to peaceful demonstration. But with a crowd estimated by them to be at around 4,000, there was some scuffling and jostling. Some demonstrators seemed intent on goading the police. At one stage, the man in white at the centre of the picture clearly shouting insults. One of the officers had to be pulled aside by colleagues, apparently injured. The command centre said there had been 11 arrests, but they were satisfied with tactics.
There's no issues outside the Bank of England as we speak, and we will ensure that people can have their say. What we don't want to see is it being hijacked by anyone that wants to commit any acts of violence or disorder.
After a largely good-tempered morning, the problem seemed to be that no one knew what to do next. If nothing else, the demonstrators have brought the centre of London to a standstill and given tourists an unusual photo opportunity. Juliet Bremner, ITV News.
Well, these are live pictures from just outside the Bank of England. As you can see, there are still thousands of demonstrators on the streets. They are predominantly there to protest at the way the financial industry, in their view, caused this recession.
Now it's meant a huge police operation. More than 5,000 officers drafted in from 30 different forces across the country.
Well, let's go now to our reporter Damon Green, who is amongst them down there, or pretty close to it anyway. Damon, it does seem to be a pretty peaceful protest. Has it been that way throughout?
Well, yes, it started peacefully and it seems to be finishing peacefully. A point that Juliet made very forcefully in her report is just how different so many of the causes are that have brought people here today. There are people that are socialists, there are a few anarchists, there are environmentalists, and if you look at the placards being carried around in the crowd today, they were protesting everything from the war in Iraq, more social housing, against pollution of the oceans, against debt in the developing world. And I think really the reason this has been so peaceful is it hasn't lacked focus. I think the person they've missed more than anything else, though they wouldn't admit it, is George W. Bush.
And as we've seen throughout, police there in numbers. What have the tactics been like?
Well, the tactics, they haven't had to employ that many tactics. You can see just over here the police line on Cornhill keeping the protesters in check. You can tell from the police's body language they haven't felt under any kind of threat. They're content just to contain people and let them go home. It is lunchtime and people actually want to leave now.
Damon, thank you very much.